Well. No matter how down bad Call of Duty might seem, it always finds a way back into the spotlight, and this time is no different. If you haven't seen already, Microsoft, who now owns COD, recently put Modern Warfare 2019 on sale for about $6 on Steam, and the player count absolutely exploded, even surpassing the current Call of Duty, Black Ops 7. And of course, that sparked a ton of debate. On one side, you got people calling Modern Warfare 2019 the greatest COD of all time and one of their all-time favorites, while on the other, people saying it's one of the worst. And that's exactly why I wanted to make this video, because I think that the conversation is way too surface level right now. Modern Warfare 2019 isn't just a good or bad Call of Duty. There are real objective reasons why people feel both ways. So in this video, I'm going to break it all down and give you more of a nuanced take on what Modern Warfare 2019 actually did for Call of Duty. And trust me, by the end, you might see the game slightly differently. With that said, I hope you're all having a great day, and if you enjoy this type of content and you're into Call of Duty, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. So, before we get into the arguments for and against Modern Warfare 2019, I think it's important to understand why this game even exists in the first place. The last Modern Warfare title before 2019 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which was released in 2011, and like most games from the golden era of COD, it was a huge success. It had strong sales, strong reception, and overall, people enjoyed it. So naturally, at that time, a lot of players expected the next step to be Modern Warfare 4. But instead, Infinity Ward went in a completely different direction and dropped Call of Duty Ghosts. And for a lot of people, this is where things started to fall off for the franchise. Ghosts tried to reinvent COD, but it didn't really land for most people. The maps were oversized, the perk system was overcomplicated, and overall, it just didn't feel like Call of Duty. In fact, it was one of the first times where the previous title, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, was just as active, if not more active, than the current game when it came to player counts. And it's one of the reasons we don't actually see active player counts anymore in modern COD titles. Then we moved into the jetpack era, and Infinity Ward released Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And honestly, looking back, it wasn't even that bad of a game. It played very similar to Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which a lot of people, including me, actually rate very highly. But the timing of the release is what killed it at launch. By that point, a large portion of the player base was just burnt out, the skill gap in those CODs were higher, movement was more complex, and the game demanded more from players than traditional COD ever really did. And even when COD tried to move away from jetpacks and move back to more boots on the ground style gameplay, the core philosophy didn't really change, with games like Black Ops 4 still playing super fast, being very skill heavy, and not really forgiving for casual players. So from around basically 2014 to 2018, COD was in a phase where it constantly rewarded higher skilled players, but slowly pushed the average player away, except for World War II probably. And that's where Modern Warfare 2019 comes in, because to their credit, Infinity Ward understood exactly what the community was craving at that time, not just in terms of gameplay, but in terms of feel. They delivered and gave us a grounded experience with slower pacing, realism, and simplicity, which is what most people were wanting at that time. So, Modern Warfare 2019 drops, and right away, it was a massive success. It became Activision's best selling digital launch ever, and honestly, that's not surprising when you look at what the game actually did well. First, and probably most important, it just looked incredible. Infinity Ward went back to a gritty, modern tone, and you could feel that across the entire game, from the campaign to the multiplayer. It brought back that grounded military aesthetic that a lot of people originally fell in love with in COD. And a huge part of this was the new engine they introduced. Everything felt smoother, more detailed, and more immersive, and it generally felt like a new era of Call of Duty. But it wasn't just how the game looked either, it was also how it felt. The attention to detail with weapons was on another level. The way the guns sounded, the way they handled, it actually felt like you were in a real war zone. And for a lot of players, that immersion alone carried the experience. And when you combine all of that, Modern Warfare 2019 really nailed something important. It brought back the feeling of classic COD, despite not actually playing like classic COD, which I'll get to in a few moments. And that's why it pulled so many players back into the game in the first place, because it felt like something they used to play back in the day. On top of that, you also had the new gunsmith system. This was the first time we saw a creator class taken to this level with a ton of viable attachment combinations. Whether you love it or hate it, Modern Warfare 2019 definitely implemented this system the best as it felt intentional and actually suited the game, instead of just being thrown in like in later titles like Cold War and Vanguard. And then there's Search and Destroy. Search in Modern Warfare 2019 played extremely well, and I think a lot of that comes down to the slower, more tactical pacing. At times, it almost felt like a faster version of Rainbow Six Siege, and that made it really engaging for players if you already were a fan of Search. For a lot of players, this was the best Search experience we've had in years, and it was probably the closest it felt to the golden era vibe with modern COD titles. And that pretty much wraps it up for what Modern Warfare 2019 did right and nailed the tone, the realism, and the overall feel. And that's why so many players loved it. But if you notice something, almost none of those positives were actually about the gameplay itself. And that's where things start to fall apart for most people. Because at its core, Modern Warfare 2019 didn't really play like a Call of Duty game at all, and it played like a completely different first person shooter. And in a weird way, Infinity Ward did exactly what they tried to do with Call of Duty Ghosts, and that's reinvent the formula. The difference is, this time a lot of people liked it, and that was due to what they were craving at this time. So, if the game was so successful, where did it actually go wrong? Well, there's a long list, and I'll start it off with the quality of life issues. Some basic features that were in all previous CODs, Modern Warfare 2019 just decided to remove. First one being Prestige. For the first time, Prestige was gone, and once you hit level 55, you essentially unlocked everything, and that was it. They replaced it with a seasonal system where you could rank up to level 155 and unlock challenges that you could do, but it just didn't hit the same. And more importantly, it also affected the gameplay, because without those prestige level resets, everyone was constantly running the best weapons, perks, and setups, which made every lobby feel way more sweaty and repetitive. Then you also had no map voting. And if you played this game, you already know anytime a bad map came up, the lobby just emptied. It slowed everything down and made finding consistent games way more frustrating. And if you actually had to play one of those maps, then that experience was even worse than trying to find one of the good ones. Then there's also little things like the mini map and also the stat displays during a match. You couldn't even see your deaths during the match, and the minimap didn't even show red dots when enemies fired unsuppressed weapons. These might sound like small details, but they completely change how the game flowed, and it all just promoted a slower, more campy gameplay philosophy. And moving on to that gameplay philosophy, this is where the biggest issues come in. Like I previously mentioned, the maps in this game were definitely not the best in the series, to put it lightly. Instead of designing maps for flow, Modern Warfare 2019 focused on realism, building maps based on real locations rather than their actual design, and that led to maps like Piccadilly and Ramaza, which were honestly some of the worst maps we've ever seen in COD. Maps like these had too many sightlines, too many safe spaces, and way too many angles to check, and the result was slow, campy gameplay, where movement was consistently punished. And the problem only got worse with what they did with Dead Silence. For the first time, Dead Silence wasn't a perk and it was a field upgrade. And that's a huge deal for a game like Call of Duty, as Dead Silence has always been one of the main tools that allows players to move around the map. Without it, footsteps were insanely loud and pushing anything became risky, promoting that campy playstyle. So combined with the maps, the game basically encouraged players to sit still and not move. Now to be fair, this actually worked really well in Search and Destroy, which I already mentioned, but in respawn modes, it completely killed the flow and made pubs virtually unplayable throughout the whole year. And it didn't stop there, as we had other core mechanics that also hurt this game. These include doors being added on every map, a shift to squad spawns instead of traditional spawn systems, and an extremely fast time to kill, where it almost felt like you were playing hardcore in core game modes. Each of these on its own might seem like small changes, but together they created a completely different experience. And if you were used to playing CODs before this one, then it would honestly be an unrecognizable experience. So the overall key takeaway with all these decisions that Infinity Ward decided to make when it came to Modern Warfare 2019 was that it didn't just tweak Call of Duty, it changed what the game rewarded. Instead of game knowledge, map control, and aggression, it rewarded holding angles, pre-aiming, and playing slow. And that's why for a lot of longtime players, Modern Warfare 2019 just didn't feel like COD at all. It felt like a completely different SBS just using the Call of Duty name. So no matter what side of the fence you're on, there's no denying that Modern Warfare 2019 is one of the most successful and most divisive CODs we've ever had. And I haven't even mentioned Warzone in this video. And for me personally, I think the game did do more harm than good in the long run. Because honestly, Modern Warfare 2019 had the potential to be the undisputed GOAT in the franchise. If it kept everything it did right with the visuals, the engine, and the immersion, but stayed closer to the classic COD formula for the gameplay philosophy, we might be having a completely different conversation in this video. But instead, it set a new direction for the franchise, and because of that, we ended up with games like Call of Duty Vanguard and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2022, and even newer titles that carried over a lot of the same design choices, features that in my opinion just don't belong in any Call of Duty. And that's the reality of Modern Warfare 2019. It didn't just change Call of Duty, it redefined it. And whether that's a good thing or not, I think the answer is pretty clear given where COD currently stands with Black Ops 7. And now looking ahead with Modern Warfare 4 rumored to be the next release, it'll probably follow the same path in terms of vibe, gunplay, and overall feel. And honestly, I'm fine with that and looking forward to it. I just hope they don't remove the core features again. Things like the minimap or dead silence as a perk are staples in any COD, and they matter more than people think. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Modern Warfare 2019. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and was this one of your favorite CODs or was it one of the most overrated? And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. We're playing this boring as fuck. I mean, yo, teammates literally on B. You just want to go?
Fuck it.
We have the overload device.
Let's go!
Okay.
Let's go!
Holy shit.
That's how you gotta play it though, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah.